And it really is quite astonishing that people always associate musicians with a certain background. You and I have a lot in common in as much as Otis Redding being my hero through all this early soul days. And we found out that we know a lot of the same people.
I well remember the first time Otis Redding came. He didn't come to Cardiff, he came to Bristol. And I was born in Ashton, but I spent all of my childhood in Cardiff. And Cardiff being a Bay Area, at a very, very early age, and I mean a very early age, I was turned on to, whether it was ganja, marijuana, whatever, I was turned on by the black guys in the Bay to take fun of the white guy, you know, let's make sure that he really goes over the top, and they did. And along with that went Brute Mohair suits and Booker T. And I was weaned on Booker T. I mean, I didn't listen to anything else that wasn't Booker T, that wasn't Stax, that wasn't Atlantic.
You talked about the Memphis Horns. I went over to Memphis and met, Duck Dunn. You talked to me about the Memphis Horns.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Well, I got to first of all go back to the first time I met Otis Redding in Bristol. He came over with a 14-piece band.
Did you meet him?
Well, I got respect from Otis Redding written on the back of like a calling card, which was a big deal, believe me. But went at the back, and the guitarist in the band was the guy that played with Joe Tex. They had a proper drummer, you know, and you class a proper drummer like Tony, you know, San Fernandez there. Hits his stick crossed over like that. They had a proper drummer, a proper bass player, and all the people that came from Cardiff, and they did 2 shows. For the first show, there was practically nobody there. There were 50 people from Cardiff that took like 3 rows up at different intervals. And that was it. Out came the Crying Shames, did their bit. Out came Zoot Money. And out came the band that backed Otis Redding. And they got the sax player with a mean-looking jacket. Better than this one, I think.
I've taken mine off after seeing that.
I'm not surprised. And the guy sort of holds his head down like that. And he goes... He's got saxophone in his mouth, believe me. And there's 8 other guys at trombone, J.J. Johnson on trombone or whatever. And there's all of this section, and they play a song called Philly Dog. I mean, if you're old enough, you will remember this song. And there's 2 to 3 rows of people from Cardiff absolutely erupt in this place. And Otis Redding gave this performance that was incredible, like as if the place was full. A rare occasion.
You're so heavily influenced by the real 60s soul of the Americans. Do you ever want to go there? Do you want to work there? Is that where you'd like to be?
I went to America in 1974, and I eventually ended up working with 2 Irish guys, one guy from Yorkshire, and I did eventually work with an American drummer and ended up working with the Memphis Horns, etc. I mean, America... It was great to arrive there off the plane from 39,000 feet. And you got there and I thought, I feel quite sick, which I did at the time. And I walk into my Japanese hotel, and the hotel is being held up as I walk in. Some guy's robbing it, and I'm nearly in tears because my physical being is at a big all-time low. And I do get into my hotel room, and a Japanese hotel has got a very funny arrangement for having a shower.
That's the one in San Francisco, is it?
Yeah, very funny arrangement for having a shower or a bath. I eventually sat down on the floor on these tiles with this shower on top of me because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do when I got in there.
Oh, you went to dial 8 and they send a young...
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
well, good.
And they stepped on my back, which if I'd known they were going to step on my back, I'd have really enjoyed it. I just get quite confused, you know.
So, what do you really want to do? What are you up to now?
Well, first of all, nobody really expects me to do whatever I do.
You had a lot of things with The Who. You had some work.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
Most unlikely, the first Who album I ever got involved with was the one where Keith Moon died, just before he died. I got a phone call asking me if I'd come up and sing some vocals. And I thought at the time it was very peculiar that I'd get asked up to sing vocals. But apparently Pete Townshend's mother-in-law is a big fan of, you know, AFL, being me. And I got asked up to do the vocals. And I don't sing sort of proper harmonies. I arrived at the session and I sat there and I said, well, I will do a vocal, but I'd really like to pick whatever note comes up, as opposed to having to sing a proper note that was written down. And I said, well, we'll flip a coin. And we did flip a coin, and luckily enough, I won the flip of the coin, so I got to pick any note I wanted to pick, and everyone else went around it. And it was a great time. I was very pleased. I also knew that when the album came out, some guy was going to review it, saying, what in God's name's this guy, Andy Fairweather, doing, singing on a Who album? And he'd even freak much more if he knew that I played guitar on the new I play guitar on the new album. If they're coming for me, I'm not here. You can't hear it.
Just out of interest, I mean, you haven't stopped working since day one. What's up for you for 83?
83 is hopefully a new album. I've sent my tapes to Warner Brothers in America, which I recorded with Glyn Johns, who gave me his studio for nothing, and the use of Glyn Johns as well. Plus some very good friends of mine from Wales. I honestly believe that Wales has a very strong centre of very important musicians.
Tell you what, Andy, when we come up for the end of the series, when the album's out, come on and do a couple of tracks from and bring your friends from Wales.
Please subscribe and see some of the silly things I get up to, and the musical stuff as well.